What do you think of when you hear the name Black Panther Party? For most people, it brings to mind images of young black men and women in black leather jackets and berets, holding rifles, fists raised in defiance. That image, powerful, dramatic, and often misunderstood, has dominated the narrative for decades. But it's far from the full story. Let's go back to 1966. Oakland, California. Two young men, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale, watched their community suffer under police brutality, poverty, and neglect. They weren't satisfied with speeches and slogans. They wanted action. Inspired by Malcolm X and anti-colonial revolutions around the world, they formed the Black Panther Party for self-defense. The name wasn't just symbolic. California law allowed citizens to carry loaded weapons in public. So the Panthers used that law to their advantage. Consequence. It wasn't long before the image of the armed panther spread across the country. But it wasn't the weapons that made the movement powerful. It was the programs. The Black Panther Party established more than 60 community survival programs. Their most famous? The Free Breakfast for Children program. By 1969, it was feeding over 20,000 kids every single week. And it wasn't just about food. It was about dignity. Kids were fed in clean, respectful environments. Volunteers woke up before dawn to cook, serve, and clean. In many cities, it was the only consistent meal these children received all day. Then there were the free medical clinics. The Panthers set up health centers in communities long ignored by hospitals. They offered testing for sickle cell anemia, vaccinations, basic treatment, and education about healthcare rights. They ran schools that taught black history and political education. They gave away free clothing, provided transportation for the elderly, created programs to combat drug addiction, and operated their own ambulance services. This was the real revolution. Building an alternative. Showing what it looked like to care for your community when no one else would. But this kind of empowerment terrified those in power. The counterintelligence program was designed to disrupt and destroy what the FBI called subversive groups. But in practice, it meant infiltrating, framing, and destabilizing any movement pushing for real change. The Panthers were a prime target. On December 4, 1969, Chicago police raided his apartment while he was sleeping next to his pregnant fiancée. In a hail of nearly 100 bullets, Fred Hampton and fellow Panther Mark Clark were killed. Years later, documents revealed the FBI had coordinated the raid and even provided a detailed floor plan of Hampton's apartment. Across the country, the same story played out again and again. Panther offices were raided. Members arrested or killed. Many served long prison sentences on flimsy evidence or were outright framed. Some fled into exile. Across the country, the same story played out again and again. Panther offices were raided. Members arrested or killed. Many served long prison sentences on flimsy evidence or were outright framed. Some fled into exile. The Panthers were imperfect. They were young. They made mistakes. But their core mission, to protect and empower their people, remains one of the most powerful expressions of radical love in American history. And yet, most people only remember the berets and the rifles. The Black Panther Party challenged more than just police brutality. They challenged the idea that black people should wait for help. They said, "We will help ourselves." They redefined what it meant to serve the people. They showed what grassroots power looks like. They didn't just resist oppression, they built alternatives. That's the part of the story that got buried. But buried doesn't mean forgotten. Today, we see echoes of the Panthers in mutual aid networks. In activists pushing for prison reform. In community health workers fighting for access. In young people who've picked up where they left off. The legacy of the Black Panthers is not in violence. It's in vision. It's in the belief that people deserve more than survival, they deserve dignity. That's what the media never told you. That's what the textbooks left out. But it's never too late to look again. To learn the real story. To honor what they built. And to carry it forward. Power to the people. Always.